I caught on that my wife was messing around with her boss the second I heard her chuckling through our bedroom wall at 3 in the morning. Not that stiff professional laugh she tossed out at fancy dinners. This was her real laugh, the one she used to keep just for me. I leaned my ear against the drywall I'd put up myself a couple of summers back, catching Krista's teenage-like giggles as she whispered into her phone. "He's got no idea, Jen. Mike's always tinkering with his projects in the garage. He wouldn't bat an eye if I brought Derek over and we got busy right on the dining table." My gut twisted like I'd been punched. Derek Vance, her big shot CEO, the guy who'd stared right past me at the company holiday party like I was part of the wallpaper. "She's pregnant," Krista went on, her voice dipping into that secretive tone women use when they're about to wreck someone's world. "I took the test this morning. Not telling Mike yet. Gotta sort out the timing first." Timing? Like she was planning a house flip. I slid down the wall, collapsing onto the oak floor I'd sanded and stained myself during our first year married, back when we were too broke for pros. My hands shook as Krista kept talking, each word driving spikes into the grave of our 10-year marriage. "Derek says he's got it covered if Mike makes trouble. He's got that guy, Russo, ex-cop. Mike's just a builder. What's he gonna do?" What was I gonna do? Damn good question. I'd built this house from the ground up, rewired the lights, replumbed the pipes, laid every piece of crown molding. Krista chose the paint shades and posted artsy photos of our renovation adventure on social media while I did the heavy lifting. Her friends ate up the cozy vibe. They called it genuine. Genuine like their crocodile tears for my wife. "I can't keep playing house with him much longer," Krista said, and I could just see her checking her polished nails. Lila asked if Mike even owns a decent jacket. "It's humiliating." I glanced at my clothes. Work jeans with caulk smudges, a faded flannel shirt, boots that had trudged through more job sites than Krista had boutique stores. "Derek's loft is unreal," she went on. "You gotta see the view. And that shower. Lord, the things we get up to in there." I shut my eyes, trying not to imagine my wife of a decade in some other guy's bathroom while I was here patching the kitchen sink. "Divorce will be a breeze," Krista said. "Mike's too trusting to stash money, and I've been handling our books forever." She wasn't lying. Every dime I made from Cedar Valley Builders went straight into our shared account. Krista paid the utilities, juggled the investments, managed what she called our nest egg. I'd been proud of her smarts. She had the degree I never got, the financial know-how I didn't. Turns out she also had a knack for deception I never saw coming. "I'll keep the house, obviously," she said. "It's worth close to $500,000 now, thanks to all Mike's sweat. That'll bankroll my stake in Derek's new project." My house. The one I'd bought with my first big paycheck, the one where I'd carried Krista through the front door 10 years ago, while she laughed and called me her rugged hero. The bedroom door creaked open, and I heard Krista's footsteps on the stairs. I bolted to the garage, grabbing a socket wrench and pretending to mess with the furnace. My brain was spinning from everything I'd overheard. Pregnant, not mine. Had to be Derek's. We hadn't been close in months. Krista always had an excuse. Exhausted from work, stressed about her big promotion, too busy with her wine club. Wine club? Hell, how many lies had I bought? Krista appeared at the garage door in her silk robe, the pricey one I'd gotten her for her birthday. "Mike, what are you doing down here?" she asked. "The furnace is acting up," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. "Might need a new filter." "Can't it wait till morning? I've got an early meeting with Derek." Derek. She said his name like it was nothing, like she wasn't plotting to torch my life and use the ashes to fund her lover's dreams. "Yeah, I'll wrap it up," I said. She headed back upstairs and I slumped onto my workbench, surrounded by the tools that had built our life. Every drill, every tape measure, every nail gun had gone into making something I thought would last forever. I'd been wrong about forever before. Bouncing around foster homes as a kid taught me nothing's permanent, but I thought Krista was different. I thought we were different. My phone pinged. A text from my buddy, Ray Carter, from the job site. "Beers tomorrow? Maggie's whipping up her killer ribs." Ray had dropped hints about Krista for years, never outright, because he's not the type to stick his nose in your marriage. Little comments, though. "She's at those work events a lot, huh?" Or, "Funny how she never mentions you at the company barbecues." I'd brushed him off, thinking he was just bitter. Ray's divorced, scraping by on construction gigs, crashing in a rental behind his brother's place. What did he know about a solid marriage? Turns out, more than me. I texted back, "Tomorrow's tough. Got family stuff. Family? What a laugh. Krista was ready to shred our family and use the scraps to start over with Derek Vance. I spent the next hour in the garage running through options. Call her out? She'd just lie. Hire a PI? With what cash? Every penny I earned funneled through Krista's system. I was stuck in my own damn life. But I wasn't helpless. I'd turned a rundown fixer-upper into a home worth nearly $500,000. I knew how to break things down and build them back up. The question was, did I want to salvage this marriage or start from scratch with something new? At 6 in the morning, Krista's alarm blared upstairs. I heard the shower kick on, her moving around the bedroom, getting ready to lie to my face another day while scheming my downfall. I brewed coffee in the kitchen we'd redone together. Krista picked the quartz countertops. I'd cut and installed them, fitting each slab perfectly around the sink I'd plumbed. This house was covered in my sweat and blood. Krista came downstairs in her sharp gray suit, a cream blouse that probably cost more than my weekly pay. She looked stunning. She always did. Krista breezed into the kitchen, all smiles. "Morning, babe," she said, pecking my cheek like she hadn't been scheming to gut my life just hours ago. "Sleep okay?" "Like a rock," I lied, forcing a grin. Had a wild dream, though. We were at some ritzy beach resort, sipping cocktails by the ocean. "Sounds nice," she said, her coffee mug pausing halfway to her mouth. "Maybe we should book a trip sometime." "A trip, yeah," I said, watching her like a hawk. "Get away, reconnect, you know? We've been passing ships in the night lately." Krista's eyes flickered, just for a second. "A vacation? Can we swing that?" "Why not? You're always saying our investments are killing it. Plus, I just scored that huge contract for the Baxter warehouse project." That part was true. Baxter Industries had tapped Cedar Valley Builders for a 7-month job worth $250,000. My biggest deal ever. Her face tightened, barely noticeable. "The Baxter job? When did that happen?" "Started this week. Didn't I tell you?" I said, playing dumb. I could see her brain scrambling, calculating. 7 months, maybe more if they're happy. Baxter's got 2 more warehouses lined up in the same lot. Krista nodded, slow and deliberate. "That's awesome, honey. Really?" I knew what she was thinking, how much cash would flow through our accounts, how much she could skim for her new life with Derek. "Gotta run," she said, snatching her purse. "Big day. Derek's rolling out some new projects." "Say hi to Derek for me," I said, casual as could be. She froze mid-step. "What?" "Your boss. Tell him I said hi. It's the polite thing, right?" "Oh yeah, sure," she mumbled, planting a quick kiss on my forehead before heading out to her Audi, the one I'd worked overtime to help pay off. The second her car peeled out of the driveway, I grabbed my phone and called Ray. "Change of plans, man," I said. "I need those ribs tonight, and I need to talk." Ray's place was a sprawling 5-acre lot on the edge of town, a single-wide trailer surrounded by half-finished projects, old trucks, a beat-up speedboat, even a motorcycle missing its front wheel. Ray's the kind of guy who could fix a tank with a wrench and some elbow grease. "You look like you got hit by a bus," he said, tossing me a cold one. I spilled it all, the phone call, the pregnancy, Krista's plan to swipe the house and bankroll Derek's venture. Ray just listened, sipping his beer, nodding now and then or shaking his head. "I knew it," he said when I finished. "Damn it, Mike, I knew it. She's been playing you like a fiddle forever." "I feel like a chump," I said. "You ain't a chump. You're loyal. Big difference." Ray leaned back, taking a long swig. "So what's your move?" "No clue. Part of me wants to call her out, but she'll just spin more lies." "Damn right she will," Ray said. "Krista's been feeding you bull for so long, she probably buys her own stories." We sat there watching his mutt chase squirrels across the yard. Then Ray leaned forward. "Here's your problem, Mike. You're too good. Always have been. Krista and her high-class pals, they think good means soft." "I ain't soft," I snapped. "I know that. You know that. They don't. To them, you're just some grunt builder who'll eat whatever they toss your way." Ray grinned, his eyes glinting. "But here's the thing. Who says you can't come out on top? You've got tricks they'd never dream of." "Like what?" "Like building stuff. And better yet, tearing it down." That night I holed up in the garage with a notebook, scribbling like a man possessed. What did I know about Krista's affair? What could I prove? What did I know about Derek Vance and his company? I knew Krista's routine inside out. I knew her passwords. She still used variations of her college sorority, Kappa Theta 09. I knew where she went, who she texted, what she cared about. I knew Derek was growing his private security firm, Vance Protection Services. Krista had bragged about it at dinner parties, government contracts, corporate gigs, VIP bodyguard work. I knew Derek rolled around in a Porsche Taycan that cost more than most folks' yearly salary. I knew Krista's friends, Lila and Jen, lived for gossip as long as it wasn't about them. I knew Krista cared more about her image than anything else. Her Instagram, with 15,000 followers, was a shrine to her perfect life. Our house, her designer clothes, her dinners at swanky spots. By 1 in the morning, I had a plan. Not a great one, maybe not even a clean one, but a plan. The next day, Krista left for work right on schedule. I waited 20 minutes, then drove to Derek's office in the heart of downtown. His company, Vance Protection Services, took up the whole 12th floor of the Summit Plaza. I parked across the street and watched. At 11:45, Derek's Porsche glided into the private garage. At 12:30, Krista's Audi pulled in after him. Lunch date, real cute. I drove home and cracked open Krista's laptop, left wide open on the kitchen island. She must have thought I was too dense to poke around. Her password? Kappa Theta 2009. Bingo. Months of emails between her and Derek, laying out everything from business deals to weekend getaways, plus photos I wish I could unsee. The real kicker, though, was her chats with Lila and Jen. Krista had been trashing me for months, spilling private details about our marriage, cracking jokes about my clothes and my brain. Mike legit asked about a vacation she'd written to Jen a couple days back. Can you imagine? Where's he thinking we're going? A hardware store, Jen shot back. At least he's predictable. Remember when he showed up to your promotion party in those work boots? I died. Derek was in stitches. When are you telling him about the baby? Lila asked. After I file for divorce, Krista replied. Let him figure it out. Savage, right? Love it, Jen wrote. I printed it all, 20 pages of my wife tearing me apart for her friend's amusement while plotting to take my house and ditch our marriage. My hands were trembling as I pored over their cold, calculated words. This wasn't some fleeting mistake or heat-of-the-moment betrayal. This was a deliberate, step-by-step plan to tear me down. Ray's words echoed in my head. Good means soft. Maybe it was time I stopped playing the good guy. That afternoon, I drove to downtown Denver and parked across from the Summit Plaza. Krista and Derek stepped out at 4:45, arm in arm, heading for his Porsche. They drove to his high-rise condo in the Lodo district, a sleek glass building that probably cost more a month than I pulled in all year. I sat in my pickup watching them vanish into Derek's million-dollar world while I tried to figure out what was left of mine. My phone buzzed. Krista. Hey, babe, I'm stuck at work late tonight. Don't wait up. Big project. Derek's got us hammering out new client pitches. Might pull an all-nighter. Sounds like a big deal, I said, keeping my voice even. It is. Could be a game changer for my career. I bet, I said. After she hung up, I laughed, hard until my eyes stung with tears. Krista was probably already tangled up with Derek in his condo, doing things she hadn't done with me in ages, while feeding me lies about client pitches. Her deception was so smooth, so second nature. How long had she been this good at it? I drove back to my house, the one she planned to snatch, and threw together dinner for one. Microwave burrito and a beer, plotting how to flip my wife's perfect little world upside down. The first move came 3 days later. Krista's friend Lila worked at a marketing agency downtown, always bragging online about her VIP clients and exclusive galas. She drove a Mercedes she loved showing off, posting photos with captions like, "Grateful for the grind." Lila parked in the same reserved spot every day, a pricey slot in her office's garage where the cameras had blind spots if you knew where to stand. 20 years in construction taught me plenty about building layouts, camera angles, access points. I knew where to stand. Thursday morning, I tailed Lila to her office and watched her park. She spent 10 minutes primping in her side mirror before strutting inside in stilettos that probably cost more than my truck's monthly payment. At lunchtime, I came back with a duffel of tools and got creative. Nothing illegal, nothing dangerous, just a little ingenuity. At 6 p.m., Lila found my handiwork when she tried to start her car and discovered someone had poured 50 pounds of molasses into her gas tank with a note taped to her windshield. Sweet ride, Lila. Maybe think twice before mocking someone's marriage. Unsigned, but I knew she'd connect the dots eventually. Krista called that night steaming. Mike, did you mess with Lila's car? What happened to Lila's car? I asked, playing dumb. Someone trashed it. Molasses in the tank. The engine's toast. That's rough, I said. Who'd do something like that? She thinks it might be you. Me? Why would I touch Lila's car? I barely know her. She says you've been acting off lately. Off? Krista, when's the last time we actually talked? Like really talked. About my day, my work, my life. She went quiet for a beat. Mike, are you okay? You sound paranoid. I'm fine. Just sick of feeling like a ghost in my own house. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Never mind. But I hadn't forgotten a damn thing. And Lila's car was just the warm-up. 2 days later, Krista's other friend, Jen, found out someone had hijacked her Instagram account and posted screenshots of her private DMs, including chats where she called her boyfriend a dull tax guy with no game and griped about faking it in the bedroom. The posts were live for 8 hours before Instagram's team yanked them down, plenty of time for her boyfriend and half her followers to see. Jen's relationship was over by sundown. Someone's coming after us, Krista said over dinner, her voice tight. First Lila's car, now Jen's social media. It's not random. Maybe you've pissed off the wrong people, I said, poking at my food. Your crew's always stirring up drama. Her eyes narrowed. What do you know about drama in my circle? Not much. Just saying, when you talk trash about people, it can backfire. Are you saying my friends had it coming? I'm not saying anything. Just pointing out, maybe someone's fed up with being the punchline. Krista stared at me across the oak dining table I'd crafted from salvaged timber out of Wyoming. Mike, you got something to say to me? Like what? Like if I've been peeking at your emails or eavesdropping on your calls? Why would you even think that? Don't you trust me? Sure, I trust you, I said, but her eyes told a different story. The perfect wife was starting to fray at the edges. That weekend, Krista said she was heading to Jen's place for an emergency girls' trip to help her through the breakup. She packed a duffel, kissed me goodbye like everything was fine, and said, "Back Sunday night. There's leftover chili in the fridge." Tell Jen I'm sorry about her boyfriend, I said. I will. After she left, I drove to the Summit Plaza and waited. Sure enough, Derek's Porsche sat in the executive garage all weekend. Krista wasn't at Jen's, playing shoulder to cry on. She was shacked up at Derek's condo, probably toasting their clever little scheme. Sunday morning, I decided to scope out Derek's building, not to start trouble, just to get a look at the life my wife was chasing. Construction guys are invisible to most folks. I threw on my work gear, grabbed a clipboard and my toolbox and strolled into the lobby like I owned the place. Maintenance call for the penthouse, I told the doorman. Leaky pipe issue. Nobody told me about that. Last-minute job. The property manager wants it fixed ASAP. He made a quick call, shrugged, and waved me to the service elevator. Derek's condo was everything Krista had hyped up. Floor-to-ceiling windows, furniture that looked like it belonged in a showroom, kitchen gadgets fancier than a chef's. I wasn't there to break anything or swipe stuff. I just needed to see who my wife was turning into. The bedroom had photos of Krista and Derek at upscale bistros, tropical resorts, and corporate retreats. They looked comfortable together, like they fit in each other's world. The bathroom had 2 toothbrushes, 2 sets of towels, 2 of everything. Krista had slipped so deep into Derek's world that she was practically living there half the time. In the bathroom cabinet, I found prenatal vitamins, a prescription bottle with Krista's name on it, dated 3 weeks back. She was keeping the baby, Derek's baby. In Derek's home office, I spotted contracts for his company's big expansion. Government training centers, corporate security gigs, VIP protection services, all bankrolled by investors, including a hefty chunk from someone named Kay Larson. Krista's maiden name was Larson. My wife was using our house as leverage to fund her lover's empire. She'd signed documents I'd never seen, tying up assets I hadn't okayed. I snapped photos of everything with my phone, careful not to move a single paper, and slipped out the way I came, unseen like always. Krista rolled in Sunday night, spinning tales about consoling Jen through her breakup drama. She wrapped her arms around me, thanking me for being so understanding about her weekend away. Jen's a mess, she said, unzipping her duffel. She feels so betrayed. Her boyfriend saw those Instagram posts and lost it, called her every name in the book. That's awful, I said, leaning against the counter. What kind of names? Krista paused just for a second. Nasty stuff. Called her a liar, a fake. Imagine that, I said, keeping my tone steady. Getting called out for being fake by someone who trusted you. Krista's eyes flicked to me, sharp. Mike, why do you keep saying stuff like that? Like what? Like you're pissed about something, but won't spit it out. I'm not pissed, I said. Just been thinking about trust lately, how it's the glue in a marriage. Trust matters, Krista said, nodding slowly. That's why being straight with each other is everything. I nearly choked on that one, but kept my cool and helped her unpack the same duffel she'd hauled to Derek's condo for a weekend of scheming my downfall. That night after Krista crashed, I sat in the garage plotting my next move. Lila and Jen were just the opening act. Krista and Derek were the headliners, but I had to play it smart. Krista was starting to smell a rat, and Derek had resources I couldn't touch in a straight fight. I'd have to use their cockiness against them. Good thing they had plenty of that to go around. The chance came Tuesday morning when Krista left her laptop open again, her calendar pulled up. Lunch with Derek, then an afternoon slot labeled Doc, confirm schedule. Schedule. That word again, like she was planning a corporate merger. I drove to Krista's doctor's office in a quiet strip mall and parked across the lot. At 3:30, Krista and Derek strolled out, hand in hand looking smug as hell. They climbed into Derek's Porsche and headed toward downtown Denver. I tailed them from a safe distance, keeping my truck out of sight. They parked at a swanky bistro in the Rhino district, snagging a window table. From my spot across the street, I watched them clink wine glasses and laugh, toasting their schedule or whatever they were celebrating. I drove home and called the doctor's office, playing the worried husband. Just checking on my wife's appointment, I said. The receptionist didn't skip a beat. Mrs. Larson was in this afternoon. 12-week checkup went great. Everything's on track for the March due date. 12 weeks pregnant, due in March. I did the math on my phone's calendar. Krista got pregnant in December. We hadn't been close since November. The baby was Derek's, no question. That evening, Krista came home practically beaming, but trying to play it cool. She whipped up dinner and rambled about her day, carefully dodging any talk of Derek, doctors, or pregnancy tests. How was your day? She asked, dishing out lasagna from a frozen tray. Not bad, I said. Baxter Jobs coming along. Started pouring the foundation today. That's great, she said, but her mind was somewhere else, probably dreaming of her new life with Derek and their kid. Krista, can I ask you something? Sure, she said, her fork hovering. Have you ever thought about us having kids? Her fork hit the plate with a clink. Kids? Why are you bringing that up? Just wondering. We've been married 10 years. Most folks our age have at least talked about it. We've talked about it, she said, her voice tight. You said you weren't ready. When'd I say that? A couple years back. You said kids cost too much, and we should wait till we're more settled. I didn't remember that talk, but it didn't matter. She was stalling, scrambling to cover her tracks. Maybe I'm ready now, I said. With the Baxter contract, business is looking up. Mike, kids are a huge deal, she said, her tone sharp. You don't just decide to have them because work's going good. You're right, it'd shake everything up. Exactly, she said, relaxing a bit. It'd change our whole life. Change how? I pressed. Well, money for starters. Kids are a fortune. Daycare, school, doctor bills. We could handle it, couldn't we? You're always saying our finances are solid. She shook her head. It's not that simple, Mike. Kids mess with your priorities, your relationships, your career. Your career, I said, raising an eyebrow. I'm at a critical spot at work, she said. Derek's been guiding me, helping me grow. A baby now would throw all that off track. Derek. She dropped his name without thinking, tying him to her future. Didn't know Derek was guiding you like that, I said. Her eyes widened for a split second. Not guiding exactly, just offering advice. He's big on helping his team grow. That's really nice of him, I said. Sounds like a great boss. He is, she said, too quick. We ate the rest of dinner in silence, her stealing glances at me like she was trying to read my mind. I kept my face blank, curious but not accusing. After dinner, I scrubbed dishes while Krista holed up with her laptop, claiming she was catching up on work emails. I could hear her typing fast, pausing, then typing again, the sound of someone in a panic, probably texting Derek about our kid talk, wondering if I was onto her pregnancy. Sleep didn't come easy that night. I lay in bed next to Krista, her soft breathing filling the quiet, her hand resting on her flat stomach where Derek's kid was growing. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of pouring my heart into a life together, believing we were a team, chasing the same future. I'd been dead wrong about it all. The next morning, Krista said she was headed to Seattle for a client pitch. Overnight trip, back Thursday night, she said, tossing clothes into her suitcase, outfits that screamed date night more than boardroom. It's a huge potential deal, she added, zipping up the bag. Derek wants me to lead the presentation. Derek's not going with you? I asked. He'll meet me there. He's flying in from another meeting. Of course he was. After she left for the airport, I called Ray. Need your help with something, I said. Can you swing by the house tonight? Sure thing, Ray said. What's going on? I'll fill you in when you get here. Bring your laptop and that burner phone your cousin gave you. Ray's cousin Dylan was a tech whiz studying at Caltech, always yapping about cybersecurity and encrypted apps. Last Thanksgiving, he'd hooked Ray up with an untraceable phone and shown him how to use secure messaging. Mike, what are you cooking up? Ray asked. Nothing illegal, just some clever problem solving. Ray showed up at 7:30 with a six-pack and a bag of tacos. We ate at the kitchen counter while I laid it all out. Krista's pregnancy, her scheme to take the house, her new life with Derek. Holy hell, Ray said, wiping hot sauce off his chin. She's really going to clean you out. Everything you built, everything you busted your ass for, to start fresh with this guy. I want to hit them where it hurts, I said, showing him the photos I'd snapped at Derek's condo. The contracts, the investment papers, proof Krista was already half living her new life. I want them to know their secrets aren't safe. Ray scrolled through the photos. This Derek guy's loaded. Government deals, corporate security. He's building a damn kingdom, and Krista's using your house to bankroll it. My house, I said, my voice tight. The one I built with my own two hands. Ray nodded, slow and serious. All right, what's the play? First, we let them know someone's watching. Then we start dismantling their perfect little bubble, piece by piece. How? I pulled out Dylan's burner phone and opened the encrypted app. We start with a wake-up call. For the next couple of hours, Ray and I crafted anonymous texts to Derek's work phone and Krista's personal number. Nothing heavy, nothing illegal, just enough to rattle them. We know about the baby. We know about the house. We know about March. Eyes on you. Short, sharp messages sent from untraceable numbers at random times through the night. No threats, no demands, just the creepy vibe that their private world wasn't so private anymore. Krista called Thursday morning from Seattle. Her voice wound tight. Mike, you getting any strange texts? What kind of strange texts? I asked, playing it cool. Random numbers, weird messages, probably just spam. What do they say? Nothing big, just scammers fishing for info, I bet. You should report it, I said. Cops might help. It's not that serious, she said, but I could hear the edge in her voice. Krista was used to controlling the narrative, curating her image, keeping her secrets locked tight. Unknown texts were shaking that foundation. How's the client pitch going? I asked. Great, she said too quick. Really great. Derek's thrilled with how I handled it. I bet he is. Krista got back Thursday night, looking frazzled and distant. She barely said a word during dinner, jumping every time her phone pinged, eyes glued to the screen. You okay? I asked, twirling my fork in some chili. Fine, she said. Just work stress. The client meeting went well, though. We locked in the deal. That's awesome, I said. We should celebrate. Her eyes narrowed. Celebrate? Yeah, maybe hit that new barbecue joint downtown. I'm wiped, Mike. Can we take a rain check? Sure thing. After she went to bed, I sat in the garage, plotting the next step. The texts had them spooked, second-guessing themselves. Time to turn up the heat. Friday morning, Derek's Porsche wouldn't start. Someone had unplugged the battery cables and left them coiled on the hood with a note. Nice ride. Watch where you park. Derek threw a fit, called building security, demanded camera footage, threatened to sick the cops on someone, but the garage cameras had glitched between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. No record of who'd been there. Krista called me that afternoon, livid. Someone's targeting us, Mike. This is getting out of hand. What happened now? I asked, leaning back in my truck. Derek's car got messed with, just like Lila's. Maybe Derek's made some enemies, I said. Security business probably pisses off a few people. This isn't about his business, she snapped. Someone knows about us. Us? I said, letting the word hang. What about you? She went silent for a long beat. Nothing. Forget it. Krista, if someone's coming after you, maybe we should call the cops. No cops, she said sharp. I can handle it. Derek's got people for this. Maybe his people aren't as good as he thinks. She hung up without another word. That weekend, Krista stayed home for the first time in ages. She prowled the house like a cornered cat, checking her phone every 5 minutes, peering out windows, flinching at every creak. You seem on edge, I said Saturday morning, flipping through the sports section at the kitchen table. I'm not on edge, she said too quick. I'm just aware. Aware of what? Nothing specific, just keeping my eyes open with those weird texts. How do you know about the texts? I said, looking up. You mentioned them yesterday, right? Said you got some odd messages. Yeah, I forgot, she said, but her eyes were calculating, trying to gauge what I knew. If I was in on it, how to keep her secrets buried. Sunday night, while Krista was in the shower, her phone lit up with a text from Derek. Russo says we need to get serious. This can't keep happening. Russo, Derek's ex-cop security guy Ray, had warned me about. They were moving from rattled to ready to fight. I deleted the message before Krista could see it and set her phone back down, like nothing had happened. Monday morning, I called in sick to the Baxter job and tailed Krista to work. Instead of heading to her office, she drove to an industrial park on the edge of Denver. Derek's Porsche was already parked there, next to a dark gray SUV I didn't recognize. I pulled into a lot across the street and watched through binoculars as Krista, Derek, and a third guy, probably Russo, stood outside a warehouse, locked in a heated discussion. Russo looked like I'd pictured, tall, built like a linebacker, with the stiff posture of a guy who'd spent his life solving problems with his fists. They talked for half an hour, then split, each hopping into their own car, Krista to her office, Derek to his high-rise, Russo to some other part of town. I stayed put, keeping an eye on the warehouse. Around noon, a delivery van rolled up and dropped off a stack of crates. At 2:30, Russo came back with another guy, both lugging heavy duffel bags. Derek was setting up something big, maybe surveillance, maybe strong-arm stuff. Probably both. That night, Krista got home late, spinning a yarn about staying late to polish the Seattle client pitch. Derek's a perfectionist, she said, reheating some soup. This deal could take the company to the next level. His company or your career? I asked, leaning back in my chair. Both, she said too quickly. Derek's talking about making me a senior partner if this goes through. Partner, huh? In what? She caught herself, realizing she'd overshared. In the company expansion. Bigger role, better pay. Congrats, I said, my voice flat. Bet you're thrilled. I am, she said, her eyes gleaming. It's everything I've been working for. Everything, including swiping my house to bankroll it. Tuesday morning, I found signs someone had been scoping out our place. Fresh tire marks in the dirt behind the neighbor's hedge. A couple of cigarette stubs that weren't mine. Boot prints leading to a spot with a clear line of sight to our bedroom window. Russo was doing recon, probably mapping my routine. When I left for work, how long I was gone, whether I had cameras or guns. I called Ray. They're watching the house, I said. Who's watching? Ray asked, voice low. Derek's guy, Russo. Found evidence this morning. Damn, Mike, this is getting heavy. Maybe we should pull back. No way, they're trying to scare me off, which means we're hitting a nerve. What if they're planning something worse than just watching? Then we gotta move quicker. That afternoon, I drove back to the warehouse where Krista, Derek, and Russo had met. The place was locked up tight, but 20 years in construction teaches you how to get into places that don't want you. Inside, I found a full-on surveillance setup, monitors, cameras, audio gear, and a corkboard with photos of me pinned up next to my work schedule, truck details, and notes on my movements. This wasn't casual. This was pro-level stalking, the kind cops use for major busts. I snapped photos of it all and got out before anyone showed up. Krista was already home when I pulled in that evening, stirring a pot of chili and humming like she didn't have a care in the world. Good day? I asked, grabbing a beer from the fridge. Fantastic, she said, smiling like she was hiding a secret. Derek's really happy with how things are shaping up. The Seattle deal, among other stuff. She was right. Things were shaping up, just not how she thought. After dinner, I slipped into the garage and called Ray. I need a favor, I said. What now? He asked, wary. Remember when Dylan showed you how to mess with social media accounts? That was just for kicks, Mike. He was showing me weak spots in security. Can you do it for real? Probably. Why? Because it's time Krista learned what it's like to have her dirty laundry aired. Wednesday morning, while Krista was at work, Ray swung by with Dylan's laptop and some gear I didn't recognize. Dylan's gonna have my head if he hears about this, Ray said, hooking up cables and typing commands that looked like gibberish to me. What exactly are you doing? I asked. Cracking into Krista's social media, email, cloud storage, everything she thinks is locked down. Is that legal? Probably not. Are you sure about this? Dead sure. It took Ray 3 hours to break through Krista's security. When he was done, we had the keys to her digital kingdom: Facebook, Instagram, email, photo backups, texts. Holy crap, Ray said, scrolling through her private messages. She really can't stand you, can she? Krista's chats with Jen and Lila were worse than I'd braced for. Months of rants about my looks, my smarts, my low-class job. Jabs about my work boots, my truck, my lack of a degree. Check this out, Ray said, pointing to a message from last week. Mike thinks he's keeping the house. He's got no clue what's coming. Derek says possession's 9/10 of the law, and I'm about to own it all. Jen replied, what if he pushes back? Krista, with what? He wouldn't know a lawyer from a lumberyard. By the time he figures it out, I'll be in Derek's condo, and he'll be crashing in some dump where he fits. That's brutal, Ray said. Keep going. Ray dug deeper, finding detailed plans about Krista's pregnancy, her divorce strategy, her scheme to claim the house and drain our accounts. She's been at this for months, Ray said, pulling up a timeline she'd sent Jen. Krista had it all mapped out. File for divorce in February, call the house marital property she helped fund, use her HR connections to blackball me from steady work, force me into a settlement that'd leave me with nothing. And look at this, Ray said, opening her photo storage. Hundreds of pictures with Derek, cozy dinners, beach getaways, shots of them tangled up in his condo, all time-stamped and geotagged, laying out the affair like a roadmap. This could tank her in court, Ray said. I'm not thinking of the court, I said. I'm thinking of public shaming. Total social meltdown. That's playing dirty, Mike. These people have deep pockets. I've got something better. Nothing to lose. Ray and I spent the rest of the afternoon downloading every damning bit of Krista's digital life. By nightfall, we had enough to torch both her and Derek's reputations. What's the next step? Ray asked. Tomorrow night's their big company gala, I said. Fancy shindig at the Summit Plaza. All Krista's co-workers, Derek's business buddies, their whole high society crowd. They're all going to see exactly who Krista and Derek really are. Thursday evening, I helped Krista get ready for her company gala. She slipped into a navy dress that probably cost more than a month's worth of groceries. Sapphire studs I'd given her for our 10th anniversary sparkled in her ears. Her makeup took hours to perfect. You look gorgeous, I said, and I wasn't lying. Krista could turn heads when she wanted to. Thanks, she said, smiling. Wish you could come. Company rules, right? No spouses except at the summer barbecue. Yeah, just dull work stuff anyway, she said. Have a good night. Say hi to Derek for me. She gave me a quick kiss and drove off in her Audi, heading to what she thought would be a victory lap for her career and her secret plans. She was half right. It'd be a night to remember. Ray and I pulled up to the Summit Plaza at 8:30, using the back entrance and dressed in our work gear to blend in with the maintenance crew. To security, we were just contractors fixing a wiring issue. We took the service elevator to the 12th floor, where Vance Protection Services was throwing their big holiday bash. Through the glass doors, I saw Krista laughing with Derek and their colleagues, wine glass in hand, toasting their shiny future. You sure about this, Mike? Ray asked, his voice low. Dead sure, I said. Ray plugged his laptop into the building's AV system while I tapped into the gala's projection setup. 5 minutes and we can splash whatever we want on every screen in there, he said. Ready, Ray said, looking up. Let's do it. I nodded. Hit it. The lights dimmed and the main screen flared to life with Krista's face. Not her polished LinkedIn headshot, but a private snapshot from her phone, lounging in Derek's bed, wearing nothing but a grin and his company tie. The room went dead quiet. Then the slideshow kicked in. Krista and Derek at upscale bistros, Krista and Derek on a beach in Italy, Krista and Derek in cozy moments at his condo that I recognized from my visit. What the hell is this? Someone yelled. The photos gave way to text messages, Krista's chats with Jen and Lila blown up in bold font for all to see. Mike's such a loser. He thinks we're solid. When you tell him about the baby, once I've got the house, let him do the math. Brutal. I'm here for it. The room exploded into chaos, people pointing, whispering, snapping photos with their phones. Krista stood frozen in the middle, her face pale as a ghost. Derek was barking at security, demanding they kill the feed, but Ray had locked them out of the system. The show wasn't stopping till we said so. More messages flashed up, Krista trashing my looks, mocking my smarts, laying out her plan to gut me financially. That's Mike, her husband, someone said. Met him at the summer barbecue. Damn, she's ruthless. And she's pregnant with the boss's kid. The final slide showed Krista's timeline for wrecking my life. File for divorce in February, claim the house as shared property, use her HR network to blackball me from jobs, force me into a settlement that'd leave me broke. Enough, Ray asked. One more, I said. The screen shifted to financial records. Krista's investment in Derek's company, using our house as collateral, contracts I'd never seen, assets she'd pledged without my say. She's committing fraud, someone muttered, using their house without his permission. Derek's in on it, another voice added. Derek shoved through the crowd trying to reach the projection gear, with 2 security guards trailing him, looking lost about whose orders to follow. Now, I told Ray. The screen went dark, then lit up with one last message in stark white letters. Krista Larson Bennett, infidelity, fraud, theft. Derek Vance, accomplice. Thank you for attending tonight's presentation. Ray and I slipped out through the service exit as the room dissolved into pandemonium. By the time Derek and his goons hit the projection booth, we were already peeling out of the parking garage. Holy hell, Ray said, grinning as we hit the road. Did you see their faces? Saw everything I needed to, I said. My phone started buzzing nonstop. Krista calling, texting, leaving voicemails that got more desperate by the second. Mike, where are you? Call me now. It's an emergency. Someone hacked the gala. They showed private photos. My career's toast. Please call back. I shut off my phone and drove home to wait. Krista stormed through the front door at 11:45, still in her gala dress, looking like she'd been hit by a truck. Mike, thank God you're here, she said, her voice shaking. Someone attacked me tonight. Cyber criminals. They hacked my accounts and flashed private stuff at the gala. That's rough, I said, leaning against the couch. What kind of stuff? Personal photos, texts, things twisted out of context. Photos of what? She hesitated. Just private moments that should have stayed private. What kind of private moments? I pressed. It doesn't matter, she snapped. What matters is that someone violated my privacy and tried to ruin my reputation. Did they pull it off? I asked. Her face crumpled. Everyone saw, my co-workers, Derek's investors, clients. They saw stuff that was supposed to be secret. Stuff like what, Krista? Stop grilling me, she said, her voice cracking. This is serious. Someone's stalking us, trying to destroy our lives. Our lives, I said. My life? Derek's company? Everything you've been working for? She went still. What? The investment papers, I said, my voice low. The contracts you signed behind my back, using our house to fund Derek's expansion. How do you know about that? She whispered. Same way I know about the pregnancy, the affair, your whole plan to swipe my house and torch my life. Her shock turned to fury. You did this. You hacked my accounts. You ruined the gala. I didn't ruin anything, I said. I just showed everyone who you really are. You had no right, she shouted. No right? You're stealing my house. You're pregnant with another man's kid. You've been plotting to gut me for months. That house is half mine, you say? You picked out curtains while I poured the foundation. You handled the checkbook while I earned every dollar. You lived easy while I busted my ass building something you planned to rip off. Krista was bawling now, her makeup streaking down her cheeks. Mike, you don't get it, she said. Derek and I are in love. We're building a future together. With my house, I shot back. This is my house. I bought it with my own cash. I fixed it up with my own hands. I made every payment while you blew our money on designer clothes, fancy brunches, and trips with your buddies. I work too, she said, her voice shaking. I bring in money. Yeah, money you treat like your personal allowance. When's the last time you chipped in for the mortgage, the electric bill, or even groceries? Krista didn't answer. She couldn't, because she'd never paid a dime for any of it. I'd covered all the bills while she spent her paycheck on herself. This house is mine, I said. You've got no legal claim to it. We're married, she snapped. Everything's joint. Not everything. Not property I bought before we tied the knot, paid for with my own funds. Her eyes widened. You've been talking to a lawyer. Talked to a few, actually. You learn a lot when you start digging. You can't do this to me, she said, her voice breaking. I'm not doing anything. You did this to yourself. She grabbed her phone, fingers shaking as she dialed. Derek will fix this. He's got people. Derek's got his own mess to deal with, I said. What mess? Check your Instagram. Krista opened her account and froze. Someone had posted the worst of the gala photos, her and Derek in compromising spots, along with her damning texts and a breakdown of her affair and financial scheming. The posts had been shared thousands of times in the last hour. You ruined me, she whispered, her voice barely audible. You ruined yourself, I said. I just made sure everyone saw it. For the next hour, Krista made frantic calls trying to contain the fallout, but the story was already spreading like wildfire. Local news sites had picked it up, and business blogs were buzzing about Vance Protection Services and the scandal involving employee affairs and shady finances. My career's done, Krista said, collapsing onto the couch. You're young, I said. You'll find something else. Where? She said, her voice hollow. The whole industry's gonna know about this. No one will touch me. Should have thought of that before you tried to swipe my house. I wasn't stealing it, she said. I was investing. Without my say-so, I cut in. That's called theft. Krista looked around the living room like she was seeing it for the first time. This was my home too, she said. Was, I said. Past tense. Mike, please, she said, her voice cracking. We can work through this. I messed up, but we can fix it. Fix what? Your affair? Your pregnancy? Your plan to gut my life? The affair's over, she said. I'll end it with Derek. You're carrying his kid, I said. What's your plan? Pretend it's mine? Keep lying for the next 18 years? People might do that, but not me. Krista broke down, sobbing into her hands. I've got nowhere to go. You've got Derek's condo, I said. He's not answering, she said. After tonight, I don't think he wants me around. Turns out public shaming's bad for business, I said. Mike, I know I hurt you, she said, desperate, but we can rebuild, start fresh. I don't want to start fresh with you, I said. I want you gone. Gone where? She asked, her voice small. Not my problem. Krista's face hardened, a flicker of desperation in her eyes. You're throwing away 10 years of marriage? You threw it away when you started sleeping with Derek, I said. I'm just facing facts. What about forgiveness? She said. What about working through it? What about honesty? I shot back. What about loyalty? What about not using your husband's house to bankroll your lover's empire? She had no answer. Friday morning, Krista packed her clothes and personal stuff while I watched from the kitchen. She moved slowly, like she was waiting for me to cave and ask her to stay. I didn't. Where are you headed? I asked. A hotel for now, she said. I'll figure it out. What about Derek? His lawyers reached out this morning, she said. They told him to keep his distance until the business mess settles. Business mess? I asked. 3 big clients bailed yesterday, she said. The government's sniffing around his security clearance. Investors are demanding answers. That's rough, I said, my voice flat. Krista loaded her suitcase into her Audi, the car we'd bought together, but she'd driven like it was hers alone for years. Mike, this isn't how I wanted it to end, she said, her voice shaking. How'd you want it to end? I asked. I wanted you to understand. Understand what? That you needed more than this house, this town, this life? So you decided to take everything I had? I didn't see it that way, she said. How'd you see it? I saw it as a fresh start, she said, building something better. With my money, I said. With our money, you mean? We're married. Were, I said. Past tense. Krista climbed into her car and rolled down the window. I'll fight the divorce, she said. I'll go after my share of the house. Go for it, I said. My lawyers are ready. You think you've won, she said, her voice sharp. But this isn't over. Yeah, it is, I said. She drove off, her Audi vanishing around the corner. After 10 years of marriage, she was gone in under an hour. I spent the weekend cleaning the house, literally and figuratively. I changed the locks, upgraded the security system, cleared out every trace of Krista's stuff. By Sunday night, it was like she'd never lived here. Monday morning, I headed back to the Baxter job site for the first time in a week. My crew had questions. Where I'd been, if everything was okay, if the job was still on. All good, I told them. Personal stuff sorted. Ray pulled me aside at lunch. You holding up okay? Better than I thought, I said. No regrets about the gala? Not a one. What about Krista? What about her? I said. I thought about her texts, her scheme to take my house, the way she'd mocked our marriage like it was nothing. She got exactly what she had coming. And Derek? He's getting his too. Over the next few weeks, I watched Derek's empire crumble through news reports and social media. Government contracts got yanked, corporate clients walked, investors pulled their money. Within a month, Vance Protection Services filed for bankruptcy. Derek himself vanished from the public eye. Derek's condo hit the market. His Porsche got repossessed. According to Ray's cousin Dylan, who kept tabs on this stuff for kicks, Derek had bolted to Texas with whatever cash he could scrape together. Krista tried reaching out a bunch of times. Calls, emails, even showed up at the house once. I didn't pick up, didn't read her messages, didn't open the door. 3 months later, divorce papers landed in my mailbox. Krista was demanding spousal support, half the house's value, and a chunk of my 401k. My lawyer chuckled when he saw her claims. She's got no leg to stand on, he said. Infidelity, financial fraud, abandoning the marriage. She'll be lucky to walk away with her clothes. What should I offer? I asked. Nothing, he said. Let her scrape for crumbs if she wants. The divorce wrapped up 6 months later. Krista got no alimony, no claim on the house, no piece of my retirement. The judge gave her the Audi and her personal stuff. I kept everything else. A year after Krista left, I was installing a custom bathroom vanity when my phone rang. An unknown number. I answered anyway. Mike, it's Jen, said Krista's old friend, the one whose relationship I'd tanked with those targeted Instagram posts. What do you want, Jen? I asked, wiping sawdust off my hands. I owe you an apology, she said. For all of it. The things we said about you, how we acted. Noted, I said, my voice flat. I know you probably hate us, but I thought you should know Krista's struggling. That's too bad, I said. She had the baby, a boy. Derek's out of the picture completely. Not my problem. She's working at a customer service desk now, Jen said. Lost her place last month. I thought maybe you'd want to help. I almost laughed. Help the woman who tried to rip off my house and ruin my life? She made her choices, I said. Now she's living with them. That's harsh, Mike, Jen said. That's reality. Krista wanted a different life. She's got it. What if she wants to apologize? Would you hear her out? Nope. What if she wants to explain? Nothing to explain, I said. Krista showed me who she was. I believed her. Jen went quiet for a moment. You really don't feel anything for her? After 10 years? I feel sorry for the guy I was, I said. The one who trusted her blindly and bought her lies. Not for Krista. She chose to torch everything we built to chase Derek's world. Now she's got to navigate it without either. That's cold, Jen said. That's honest, I said. Something Krista never bothered with. Jen hung up without another word. I went back to work on the vanity, building a bathroom for a young couple who reminded me of Krista and me a decade ago. Excited about their new home, dreaming of kids. I hoped they'd be smarter than I was. That evening, I kicked back on my porch, staring at the house I'd built and nearly lost. Every plank, every nail, every detail had my sweat in it. Krista had tried to take it, use it, destroy it. She'd failed. I'd won something bigger than revenge. My life back. 6 months later, I got a text from an unknown number. Mike, it's Krista. I know you don't want to hear from me, but I need help. Please, deleted. 2 weeks later, another one. I made awful mistakes. I'm sorry. If you want to talk, I'm here. Deleted. A month after that. Our son looks like you. I know he's not yours, but I sometimes think about what our kids would have been like. Deleted. For almost a year, Krista kept trying. Texts, emails, calls, even letters dropped at my door. Each one more desperate, each apology more elaborate. I never responded. On the 2-year mark of her leaving, one final message came. I get it now. You'll never forgive me. I ruined everything good in my life thinking I deserved better. I was wrong. I hope you're happy, Mike. You deserve it more than anyone. I read it twice, then deleted it like the rest, but the words stuck with me. 3 years after Krista left, I was wrapping up a big retail project when Ray swung by the job site. Ran into Krista yesterday, he said. Where? At the mall? I asked, setting down my drill. Grocery store. She's working there, stocking shelves. Good for her, I said. She looked rough, Mike, real rough. That's what happens when you blow up your own life, I said. She asked about you. What did you tell her? That you're doing great, happy, killing it at work. All true. She cry when you said that? Yeah, Ray said, studying my face. You really don't care what happens to her, do you? I care that she gets what she deserves, I said. No more, no less. What's that mean? To live with her choices like we all do. She's had 3 years to rebuild. If she's stocking shelves, that's on her. What if she's learned her lesson? Ray asked. Good for her, I said. Learning doesn't undo consequences. Ray nodded slowly. You've gotten tough, Mike. I've gotten real, I said. There's a difference. What's that? Tough people get off on others' pain. Real people just don't feel obligated to fix it. That night, I sat in the garage with a beer, mulling over Ray's words. Had I gotten tough, or had I just stopped being a sucker? Krista taught me people can be brutal to those who love them most. That broken trust doesn't heal clean. That some folks don't deserve forgiveness. I'd learned those lessons the hard way, and now I live by them. 5 years after Krista left, I met someone new. Claire was a librarian, divorced, with a teenage son. She'd been burned too, knew the kind of scars betrayal leaves. We took it slow, no big promises, no rush to lock things down. Just two people who'd learned to guard their hearts. One evening, as we sat on my porch, Claire asked, "Do you ever think about your ex?" "Sometimes," I said. "Do you miss her?" "I miss who I thought she was," I said, "not who she turned out to be." "That's a smart way to look at it," she said. "Wisdom you earn through pain," I said. "Think you'll ever forgive her?" she asked. I thought about it for a long moment. Forgiveness isn't about her anymore. It's about me. I've already forgiven myself for trusting someone who didn't deserve it. But her? No. Krista's forgiveness is her business, between her and whatever she believes in. My job is to live my life without letting her choices keep cutting me. "Have you done that?" Claire asked, sitting beside me on the porch. I looked around at my house, my life, the woman next to me who valued honesty and loyalty. "Yeah," I said. "I think I have." 7 years after Krista left, I married Claire in my backyard. Small gathering, close friends, no fuss. The opposite of my first marriage. At the reception, Ray pulled me aside. "You happy, Mike?" "Happier than I ever thought I'd be," I said. "No regrets about Krista? How did it all go down?" "Not one," I said. "She got what she wanted. A new life. That it blew up in her face isn't my fault or my problem. What if she showed up today, begging for another shot? I'd tell her she made her choice 7 years ago. Now I've made mine." Ray clinked his beer against mine. "To be real, then." "To be real," I said. 10 years after Krista left, a wedding invitation landed in my mailbox. Krista Larson was marrying some guy named Daniel Carter at a little chapel outside Denver. I almost tossed it, but curiosity got me. I called Ray. "You hear Krista's getting remarried?" "Caught wind of it," he said. "Are you going?" "Hell no," I said. "But I'm wondering about the poor sap tying the knot with her." Ray's cousin Dylan dug up some info. Daniel Carter worked for the water utility, divorced, and had 3 kids. Seemed like a solid guy. "Poor bastard," I said. "Maybe she's changed," Ray said. "Maybe cows can tap dance," I said. "People change, sure, but not Krista." "How do you know?" "Change means owning your mistakes. Krista's spent a decade pointing fingers at everyone else." I never replied to the invitation, never found out if Krista actually got married or if Daniel wised up in time. Didn't care either way. 12 years after Krista left, Claire and I were eating dinner when she mentioned a news article she'd read. "You remember your ex, Krista?" she said. She was in the local paper. "For what?" I asked. "Got arrested for skimming money from her job," she said. "She was pocketing customer payments at some accounting firm." "How much?" 40 grand over 3 years. I wasn't shocked. Krista always thought she deserved more than she had, always hunted for shortcuts. "What about her husband?" I asked. "Daniel divorced her," Claire said. "The article said he caught her stealing and turned her in himself." "Smart guy," I said. "You don't sound surprised," she said. "I'm not. Krista never learned that ripping people off catches up with you. She just got sneakier about it." "Do you feel bad for her?" Claire asked. "I feel bad for Daniel and his kids," I said. "They trusted someone who didn't deserve it. Not Krista. She's 45. She's had years to figure out dishonesty burns everything it touches. If she hasn't gotten it by now, she never will." "That's tough," Claire said. "That's real," I said. 15 years after Krista left, I got a call that shook me. "Mike, it's Jen," she said. "I know you don't want to hear from me, but Krista died yesterday." I sank into a kitchen chair. "How?" "Car crash," she said. "Drunk, hit a utility pole on Highway 36. No one else got hurt." I sat there letting it sink in. "Are you still there?" Jen asked. "Yeah," I said. "Thanks for letting me know." "You okay?" "I'm fine. Funeral Thursday if you want to come." "I won't," I said. "She never got over you, Mike," Jen said. "Even after all these years, she talked about you. Said you were the best man she ever knew. Said she was too dumb to see it when she had you." "She was right about the dumb part," I said, "but not about me being the best. That's not for me to say." Jen paused. "Guess that's it then. Krista's story's done." "It was done 15 years ago," I said. "Everything since was just consequences playing out." "That's a hard way to see it," she said. "It's an honest way," I said. After Jen hung up, I sat in the kitchen, thinking about Krista for the first time in years. Not the woman who betrayed me, but the young woman I married 18 years ago, the one who laughed at my dumb jokes and called me her rugged hero. That woman died long before the crash. She died the second Krista chose betrayal over truth, stealing over earning, destroying over building. Claire found me at the table an hour later. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Krista died," I said. She sat beside me. "I'm sorry. You okay?" "I'm sorry someone I once loved ended like that," I said. "But it wasn't sad. It was inevitable." "How so?" "Krista spent 15 years dodging the fallout of her choices. Eventually, you can't dodge anymore." "Regret how things ended?" she asked. "I regret it took me so long to see who she was," I said. "But I don't regret protecting myself once I did." "No second thoughts about not forgiving her?" "None," I said. "Especially now. Krista's gone, but the lessons she taught me are still here. Trust is earned, loyalty counts, actions have consequences. Some people burn down everything good in their lives chasing something they think is better. Others build something worth keeping from the ashes." Claire nodded, her eyes soft. "Yeah," she said, "some people do." That night I stood on my porch, looking at the house I'd nearly lost 18 years ago. Every board, every nail, every inch carried my sweat. Krista had tried to take it, twist it, break it. She'd failed. I'd built something better than revenge, a life worth protecting.